Hey guys, this is Jeff. I'm a driving instructor here in Las Vegas, and over the last 8 years, I've taken several hundred people to their driving tests. If you like this type of breakdown, hit subscribe because I'll be covering different driving test standards from different states all across the country in some upcoming videos. In this video, you're watching a student actually taking her driving test. There's two automatic fails in this drive. One is obvious, the other is more subtle, but it is a common failure. I want you to pick them out and drop a comment with what you think they are, and we'll go over that at the end of the test. A common question I get is, are all the DMV locations the same? Absolutely not. Every DMV sits in a different driving environment, different neighborhoods, different traffic flow, different types of pedestrian activity, and examiners do vary depending on the location you go to, and that often has to do with the supervisor that runs the department. I've gone over the pre-drive checklist in other videos, but just quickly, they're going to check your turn signals, your brake lights, your tire condition, your horn, any crack in your windshield longer than 3 inches, and they'll send you home. Also, check engine light. If your tires are bald with the wires showing, they will not test you. If something appears to be unsafe, they will reschedule you, and this happens quite frequently. Also, the other day I saw someone that had a bunch of dolls on their dashboard. Don't have anything obstructing your view and don't have anything hanging from your rear view mirror. As far as the backup camera goes, you can glance at it when you put your car in reverse, but don't stare. Move your head. You got to look for cross traffic left and right, and use your rear view mirror to see if someone's backing up directly behind you at the same time, which does happen frequently, especially here in Henderson. Each DMV has approximately 10 to 12 different routes you might go. Trying to memorize them is pointless. The secret to passing your test is not the route. It's really controlling your anxiety and having enough practice so the drive test feels just like a normal everyday drive. You should know the rules of the road, how to handle the car, how to turn confidently, how to navigate any type of traffic environment. If you can drive the entire city, including the freeway, without panicking, you're probably ready to take your driving test. When I'm at the DMV waiting for a student to come back, I'll often stand outside and watch other people start their driving test. And you'd be shocked how many people can barely back up. Examiners know instantly whether you're prepared. They can tell how you start the car, how you adjust, how you back out, your very first turn, whether you're ready or not. If you're clearly not ready, they can tell you to reschedule, that you just need more practice. Well, how much practice do you really need? If I'm starting someone from zero experience, it usually takes me, with the average person, around 15 hours of private lessons, and that includes driving all over the city, including the freeway, to get someone to be able to pass their driving test on the first try. That's practicing in residential areas, business districts, heavy traffic, light traffic, freeways, intersections, parking lots. I do a lot of lane changing and merging, U-turns. I do all types of parking, including parallel parking, even if it's not required on the driving test. It just builds confidence overall. Even though freeway is not on the exam, it still builds incredible confidence for your driving test. People that have been on the freeway have a higher percentage of passing their driving test the first time. Teens under the age of 18 have to do 50 hours of driving with a parent or guardian. That's 40 during the day and 10 hours at night. But they'll still fail their driving test, and there's various reasons for that. Oftentimes, the parents are just taking them back and forth to school every day. No variety. They don't do the freeway. They don't travel into different driving environments. Here's a question for you. Could you perform a U-turn at an intersection confidently? That happened during a driving test one time. I had a student compelled to do a U-turn at a busy intersection because of a road closure. Even though it's not on the test, you might have to do it. What if the examiner tells you to do something illegal? If the examiner instructs you to do something illegal, don't do it. Anything illegal is an automatic fail. Years back, one examiner at Flamingo used to intentionally give an illegal instruction just to see what people would do, and most followed her instructions, and they failed. She called it a judgment test. It's something she made up. Her name was actually Karen. Another situation that came up recently, I was at the DMV with a student. An examiner came out with another driver parked next to us. Out of courtesy, I waited for them to back out safely so he could start his test. The driver wasn't very skillful, and he turned too early and he hit the rear end of my car. The thing is, he just kept going. The examiner apparently said nothing and just continued on with the test. That is a hit and run. It's illegal. It's leaving the scene of an accident. Fortunately, I only had a few scratches on the back of my car, so I did report it to the supervisor. But here's the takeaway. If an examiner asks you to do something illegal, don't do it. The only exception to that would be if the instructions to perform an illegal maneuver were to avoid a collision, for example. If the examiner yells stop, you must stop immediately. They see something that you don't. And unfortunately, if you hear those words, it's generally an auto fail. Well, did you catch it? The first auto fail? It's something I go over with every student, sometimes multiple times. But like I said in the beginning, anxiety, nervousness, it's the biggest factor in automatic fails on the driving test, no matter how much experience you have. Look at the speed on this road. It's 45 miles an hour. If you're driving 35, you're going too slow. You're going to lose points for driving too slow, being too cautious. Another common point deduction I see every day is lack of shoulder checks. At least one or two are missed on every drive test. She's getting into the turning lane a little too early, and examiners can take 2 points off for that. It's actually another common error. When the traffic starts moving, stay with the traffic flow. Don't hesitate too long so there's a big gap between you and the car in front. When you're turning, do not follow the car in front of you. You need to take the correct lane. Try not to slow down too much in the traffic lane when you're moving over into a turning lane. Do most of your braking as you're starting to move over. When you're turning across multiple lanes of traffic into a driveway, such as the DMV, you need to look ahead and make sure there's no pedestrians walking down the sidewalk. And if you follow the car in front of you, make sure he clears all 3 lanes of traffic and he also clears the driveway before you turn in behind him. She did hesitate on this one. She could have made it into the DMV. Keep your speed down in the DMV parking lot. I had a student fail, I think it was last year, failure to yield to a pedestrian. They don't have to use the crosswalks in a parking lot. Anyone that's going to step in front of your car, you need to stop. Okay, well, the final auto fail is about to happen. Oops.
I'm so sorry. Okay. Take your time. Readjust.
Okay, instead of fixing this one, she's going to go look for a different parking
Hold that
space.
spot if you want.
But let me show you what should have happened
Yeah,
here.
I'm so sorry again.
Either the examiner told her to park on the left or she picked that spot. But she's in the center of the lane. She's too far to the left to make the turn. And she's not looking at where the curb is sticking out so far. So she should have stayed to the right, come up a little bit further before turning in. And also, you need to slow down when you're parking. She's coming in too fast. It appears that she didn't even see the curb, and that's what she told me after the test. Although you can clearly see it here as you're approaching it. Here's the approach again. You can see the curb sticking out. It's pretty clear. And she's, like I said before, too far to the left. You need to swing a little bit wider to make that turn. Would not choose to park next to a curb on my driving test if I didn't feel confident with parking. Unless you're told to park there, I would pick a different space. Okay, that's it for this one. Please comment if you saw what the first automatic fail was. Thanks for watching.